Christmas. Shortly before the holidays, I flew to New York from Amsterdam's festively decorated Schiphol airport, but we're getting off track. Come on, we are on a flight report mission here.
Hello my dear ones, today it's getting really colorful here, and I'm not talking about my Christmas sweater but about this out there. JetBlue, the blue airline. We're flying in mint business class from Amsterdam to New York. Well, everybody has the best reviews, the best comments about this airline. They say that this is supposed to be the best airline from the United States, but when I look at the seats, I see they're nice seats. When I look at the menu, I'm not so really sure. Anyway, most important is to see the real thing, so we're gonna hop on this one. They fly only narrow body planes over the Atlantic, so that's also quite special. Now let's hop on this plane over here. JetBlue in 7 hours from Amsterdam to New York.
JetBlue lets their narrow-body Airbus A321s cross the Atlantic. So what will their business class look like, and how do they stand out from the big fat competition? I had the time to think about that while waiting for access to the lounge, because the wait was an hour and a half. But now let's board our plane, where it's about to get very dark.
And here we are on board JetBlue in mint class. Everything is more blue than mint. Upon boarding, everything was rather mysterious, mystical here, rather dark blue. So they really go very well with their branding. Once you sit in the suite, in this seat actually, it's quite spacious. It looks quite small and narrow when you walk by, but once you sit, there's really quite a lot of space. They all say there's amazing much storage. I don't think there's amazing much storage. It's just some storage, not too much. Otherwise, they seem to keep the window blinds closed here. That's a very special thing about America-based airlines, that they just leave the windows closed. Except for emergency seats, they have to have the window blinds open during takeoff and landing. Otherwise, everything can stay closed. Also, I think people think this looks so much cooler. Anyway, I'm not cool, so I will of course open the window blinds later. I mean, we're here on a flight, and it's beautiful to be on a day flight to really experience everything. So let's see, we're heading to Takeoff now. So, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has brought us up onto cruising altitude, and before takeoff there was a selection of welcome drinks. That was juices, water and what they called champagne. That was not real champagne though, because of course, I'm sorry, but all Americans say champagne when it comes to something that looks like wine and has some bubbles in there. In this case, it's just sparkling wine. Champagne actually comes from La Champagne. That's a region in France where they grow champagne. I think you know that. And everything else is just sparkling wine. However, I privately always choose a really good Crémant over a regular or not so great champagne. And here they have a good Crémant. So that's a very nice alternative. However, they serve it in plastic glasses. So it's plastic from the plastic country #1 in the world. That's not a nice message. And now it's off to lunch service. Before takeoff, you can already select your preferred meal on the TV screen. They offer 4 small dishes, of which you can choose 3. Before landing, there's a light dinner with a choice of 2 dishes, but that should turn into a not so light joke. So, lunch service has started, and before that I got some cocktail, and that is mint condition. You can have that with gin or vodka. I asked for a gin actually, and it tastes rather like gin with something else. There's supposed to be lime in there and mint and cucumber, but it's just really very alcoholic. Anyway, let's have a look at the menu now once more and in detail. As I said, you can have a choice of 3 out of 4 dishes. I asked for all of 4 of them so I can show them to you. Of course, that's the reason. So that's arugula salads, lasagna, pizza and chicken. Then there's some bread and butter. Then after this you're gonna get some vanilla ice cream, and in between services there's a variety of snacks. Of course we're gonna have a look at that later. And then before landing there's some light bites. That's a warm Dutch crunch roll. No idea what that is, but I guess it's something rolled and Dutch and maybe crunchy and maybe sweet. And then there's a cheese plate. Then when it comes to drinks, of course there's all kinds of soft drinks and beer. Then they have proper espresso and all the espresso and cappuccino and specialties like that. Then they have teas, and then we go to the drinks. And when it comes to cocktails, they have 3 different kinds of cocktails. One of them is the mint condition. Then there's 2 mocktails, beer as I said, then some liquor like spirits, and some mixers, but they're ready-made mixers from the bottle, like margarita or a strawberry mule. And then it gets really interesting now when it comes to the wines. I mean, I showed you already the Cremant instead of champagne, and then, or instead of proper champagne, and then they don't have like 2 white wines, 2 red wines and port wine, for example, but they have a white wine, they have an orange wine, they have a light red wine and a proper red wine. That's the first time that I see orange wine on board a plane, and I'm sure many of you have never heard of orange wine, so I'm gonna tell you later a little bit about what orange wine actually is. Anyway, let's dig in now. It smells quite good, but also it smells a little bit like in a regular pizzeria, to be honest. Let's try. Done with the lunch service, and actually the highlight was first of all the arugula salad. Who would have thought that? That was quite good. It was quite fancy, not just arugula but some pine seeds, some fancy stuff on it, so that was quite nice. But the lasagna was really not nice, really not, and the pizza was just not okay. I mean, there's so many good Italian restaurants and pizzerias in the United States with so many families that have Italy as their origin, and this was just not nice at all. Then they have some chicken breasts, so I tried the chicken breast too with mushroom sauce. The mushrooms were freshly sliced, and for a moment I thought maybe there's some mushroom aroma on it. And then there was some vanilla ice cream. That was good again because there was very nice caramelized bananas. So arugula salad and the dessert were actually the highlight of the lunch. So who would have thought that, right? Then the white wine was good, and then we have this here, the orange wine, and that is something really special. It makes also the whole experience quite colorful. It's JetBlue, then we have the mint glass, then we have white wine, orange wine, light red and fully red wine. Orange wine is actually made by leaving the stems and the skins of the grapes longer in the whole mass there before when the whole oxygen process is starting, so that gives the certain color here, of course, first of all to the wine, and also some more tannins. However, the wine is not really fruity, it's not also really rich of tannins, it's somewhere in between. I think it might be refreshing in summer, but as I said, I'm not a big fan of orange wine. But I think you should really try it sometime, because it's something really special. You don't get to try orange wine so often, so you do.
Now to something really great, the Amenity Kit. The JetBlueMint Amenity Kit is on the one hand a fabric bag branded by caraa, and inside are a sleep mask, really pretty socks, facial scrub, lipstick and 2 creams by Dr. Gross, earplugs and a deodorant wipe. But it's more than just a bag. The whole thing even doubles as a small backpack, which you can still use after the flight. A great and smart idea. On top there's also some nice and substantial slippers. And now a few words about my trusted travel partner, my sponsor Level 8, with great luggage that has been traveling with me for a year and a half now.
For quite some time I've been traveling with luggage of Level 8, and that's a really fantastic brand when it comes to high quality luggage. So I'm absolutely convinced about that. And here's something new. Actually, that's a backpack, and I'm not a big fan of backpacks, but here I have a very different opinion because this is just such a fantastic piece of luggage here. I will show you what is in there in a moment. I put all the heavy stuff in there. That's very heavy really, but you don't really feel it because the cushions here on the back for the bag are so good, so well done. Then you can adjust it here very easily with these things, just with your finger, very easy. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 just compartments here. Then on the side 2 more, and then inside another 3. It's also so well done when it comes to the weight because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 screws in the luggage here, and then there's another steel wire even that lifts the whole bag here many times without any wear and tear. So this is really very well done. I'm a huge fan, and I'm gonna show you what is all inside this very backpack.
My entire filming equipment fits inside, including a hardshell case and a spare filming set, a large camcorder, cables, mouse, tablet, a laptop, altogether 30 pounds of cargo, no problem. It's a true luggage miracle, and my viewers can get this backpack and everything from Level 8 at a special discount. Click the link in the video description, use the discount code and then enjoy some really great luggage.
But now let's have once more a look at the seat. You can see this is a real business class suite. Once you have a seat with the door, they call it a suite. Anyway, here you have the door. You can open it very easily, and then it closes here with this little thing here again, you see, like this. Then you have the monitor screen, the TV screen, that folds out like this, and then you can swivel it up and down. Even when you lie down, you don't have too much light from outside kind of mirroring itself onto your face. However, this very one is a little not so good anymore, you know, it needs to be fixed. It's more or less swiveling by itself. Then the headset, well, the headset is not noise cancelling. I just thought it looked so fancy, it must be, but it's not. Then, as I said, there's some nice compartments, not too many, but it's okay. You have some one flat compartment over there, and then you have a surprise compartment next to the inductive phone charge station, so that's quite nice. Also, when you lie down, it's actually quite nice space, but of course we're gonna have a look at that separately. So here we are in the amazing bed, and they really took care that there's enough space. The important inches, the inches that matter, really exist here. Look, on the side there's just the right amount of space for the arms and also for the legs. When you lie down, you see there's just the right amount of space for the legs. When you lie down on the side, you have really nice amount of space. And I just wish that some other airlines, let's say randomly, Lufthansa and new Allegri's business class would have the same, because they fly sometimes 13, 14, 15 hours, while this plane goes 7 hours, maximum 8 hours, and that was it. And here you don't pay extra for extra space. So I don't have to say more, it's just very good.
Entertainment on this flight was very good, except for the headphones. First, there's information about the flight, then the Wi-Fi works very well. Above all, there's a wide selection of movies and TV series, and you can even watch them with a group of up to 5 people. You should not expect world cinema here, but rather Hollywood. You also get entire seasons of TV shows, not just some episodes, and there's also a few games. There's even a whole range of different live TV channels. However, I was missing a good flight show. And that brings us to what is probably the lightest dinner of all long-haul business class flights in the world.
So my dear ones, the light bites have been served, so that's the light meal before landing, an hour and a half before landing, and it's 2 dishes you could select. Here's the cheese plate, so that's a real cheese plate, and this is the famous warm Dutch crunchy roll or whatever. It's just a bread roll, that's what it is, nothing special. Maybe it is special, I'm very sorry. Now in America I know most bread variations are not really handmade and more plastic than really nice products, and parts of it might be the same here. So anyway, before we get to what we are seeing here, namely 3 not empty glasses, I just want to say something. I'm just trying out new equipment on this flight, a new camera, a new microphone, and of course I cannot try it on 5 different flights because that all costs money, right? So I have to do it on site, and this is the site, and I hope that the average outcome is good enough. Anyway, let's go now into the detail of what you see here. Now you see 3 different not emptied glasses, and there's a reason. I find them wines here, I find them all just not good. The Cremant is still okay, so that's why it's almost empty, but the others are not. I know one is called Glue Glue, that's very obviously a branding name to market a wine, and it's supposed to be like very like en vogue at the moment at parties and so on, and it has a price therefore, but I don't know why. It's very obvious that this is a wine that might be marketed very well, but not for people who appreciate wine and the art form of making wine. So this is really not good. Very simple. And then we have cheese platter here, or a cheese plate, a little plate, a platelet. And then we have a bread roll, and that's called 2 different dishes. I know it's called light bites, but that's a little too light, I would say. Normally the cheese would be part of the dessert. In a proper business class you would have cheese and dessert, and then of course you have bread with it, but you don't serve a bread roll as a dish. Thank you so much. Thank you. Not yet. I'm just waiting a little. Yes. Just got some espresso. I just asked for double espresso. At least the coffee is there. So, and you see there's the 3 not emptied glasses, and it will stay like that because of course I will not empty them. I just don't like to drink bad wine, and this is an example for it. Not something you should serve to customers. And I got some coffee now, so that's good. I will drink some coffee, I will drink some more sparkling water, and that is it.
By the way, this channel also features a walkthrough pre-Christmas New York and how you can experience a lot here with almost no expenses. It's part of a whole series of travel sing-fly destination reports, including New Delhi, Sydney, the Taj Mahal, Taipei, New Zealand, and lots about Phuket and Thailand. Enjoy watching, and now it's time for our approach into JFK.
So my dear ones, and here we're descending into New York JFK Airport now. How was this flight? First of all, the good things, the staff was really lovely, very friendly, very attentive, so that was a really nice experience. Then the seat is also very, very comfortable. A wide seat, a really nice big business suite with a door that closes, and you have some nice slides. The whole ambiance, so to say, is actually very nice and elegant. Very elegant design. Also, when you enter the cabin, the whole cabin looks really nice and very chic. You would expect it actually from a Middle East carrier, just to serve all the cliches. You would expect it from them. And to be honest, there are many planes on those airlines: Etihad, Gulf Air, Oman Air, Qatar Airways also. Have a look at my channel, they're all covered there. And many of those planes are not so special, really pretty basic on board. Anyway, so this is really very nice. Also from the technical side, you have USB-A, you have USB-C ports, and you have inductive charging for your phone. You have very good TV program, whole seasons of TV series and movies and so forth. There's compartments, there's some storage, so that's also nice. And when you lie down, you have a really good bed. You have a lot of space, you have a nice blanket, you have a nice pillow, so that's all really nice. What is not nice is everything that has to do with catering. Food and beverage are just not okay. You cannot serve lasagna and pizza as a main course in business class, and if you do so, it better be really outstanding, like mind-blowing good. It wasn't. When the highlight of a flight is a arugula salad, then something is wrong, I would say. The lasagna was so bland and the pizza was just horrible. I've been to Sicily many times and they would just not even feed that to their animals. I'm very sorry to say it so straight out, but that's how it is. It was horrible pizza, and they even put it here on the menu. I'm sure every Italian would get really upset about this. Horrible pizza, very bad lasagna, and the rest was just okay. And you cannot serve a cheese plate, a small cheese plate, and a regular bread roll as two dishes as the light bites before landing, as a certain second service. In business class, the cheese would be part of the dessert, and the bread roll would be part of the service. And it's not a second dish, for sure. So that's a complete no-go, and it's really upsetting. You see, I'm pretty upset. But actually not for myself, but more for you, for my viewers, who should make the right decision when they're flying. And then it comes to the beverages, and I mean, of course, opening soft drinks and beer, that's easy. You just open the bottle, that was it. Of course, when it comes to wine, you open the bottle and that was it too, but not really, because I'm fine with having Cremant instead of proper champagne from Champagne region in France. But then the wines, another story. I found the white wine okay. The orange wine I found really very nice idea, very nice. But then the red wines, you could really see that was just a marketing gag and nothing nice. So I would not like to drink them at home. I would be embarrassed to serve them to my friends, and I don't need to spend a lot of money, but I need to give something nice, not something that is branded nicely. So in the end, I don't know what to say really, because I mean, if you take the seat really important, then this is really a very nice seat. It's fantastic. Very comfortable seat, really nice. Also technically it's very well equipped. You have USB-A, USB-C, you have inductive charging, you have a very nice elegant cabin altogether. But if you appreciate food and beverages and wines, if you really appreciate it, then this is not the right airline. I know they go along with all the other American carriers. I know that's also again a cliche, but that's how it is. Cliches sometimes come from somewhere, and in this case for sure, but then you have to choose another airline that's probably not in the United States. I'm very sorry, and I hate cliches, I really do. But in this case it was just the proof that the best American or US American airline really fails when it comes to food and beverages. Very sad.
Ladies and gentlemen of the flight deck, we've just begun our final descent into John F. Kennedy Airport.
So, my dear ones, Rudolph the reindeer has brought us to New York JFK. What an interesting flight. A lot of great things happened, a lot of really not so great things, so really interesting. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. If yes, give me a thumbs up and also leave your comment under the video. That's more important than you might ever think. And of course, those who haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel right away. There's lots of really interesting, exciting airline reports waiting for you and destination reports from all continents of the world, and one of those reports would be this one. That's really worthwhile checking out. So see you there in a while here at Travel Sing Fly.